how do you sign up for Social Security online? I'm at that age. I want to sign up for Social Security. How hard is it? What do I need? This video will help you answer those questions because we actually help as a service. We help all of our clients sign up for Social Security online. And I've actually learned to love the process. So today I wanted to walk you through essentially how to sign up, what information you need, what you should look out for. Let's jump right in. So you want to go to SSA.gov, which is the Social Security Administration website. In the top right, you're going to hit that sign in button, and they're going to ask you for two ways to potentially sign in. I see the login.gov or the ID.me. This is arguably the hardest step, funny enough, to be able to collect your Social Security benefits, is having the correct login and having it work. If you can get through this step, then you are well on your way to signing up for Social Security. Most of the clients that I see sign in with the login.gov ID. So you click on that, put in your password or your login name and password, and you're finally into your Social Security portal. You're eventually going to want to go down to where it says retirement benefits and then click start my application now. The first thing that they'll do is they will show you your earnings record. And from my standpoint, it's actually very important to go through it. I've only had once in my career where I think the Social Security Administration showed $8,000 of earnings when the client actually made $80,000. So they're missing a zero. And you want to dispute that, or essentially send your tax return to the Social Security Administration before you sign up for benefits. But again, the Social Security Administrations are going to take the top 35 years worth of earnings, and you want to make sure they're in the right ballpark, right? And you'll go through each and every tab of earnings. It's been fun to see my clients and work with them, and and ask them, what were you doing in 1976? And hear the stories about paper routes. I had one client who grew up in the Northeast and worked on a tobacco farm. I'm like, you were 12 years old working on a tobacco farm. He said, yep, that's what I was doing at 12 years old. It's crazy. Anyway, it's fascinating to hear the stories that I get from clients, but make sure you're looking at those earnings history. And it's going to ask you, does it, I can't remember the exact question because I can't technically show you a sample, but it's going to ask you for, does this earning record, is it accurate? You're going to hit yes. They're actually going to ask you that question one other time in the application. So then once you've said yes, you're eventually going to scroll down to where it says start your retirement application now. Before you start, there's some paperwork that I think is very valuable to have, or at least information or data. Obviously, you want your, if you're married, your spousal information. So full legal name, birth date, wedding date, I think I already said Social Security number. You're going to want to have, if you have any kids under 18, their information will be very valuable. If you are still working, your employer address, when you started working, when you're planning on ending work will be very valuable. The other thing that's the funniest question, or the what I find is the hardest question for some of my clients, is actually the city where they were married. A lot of people are like, oh, we were married in, I'm from Seattle, Washington. But technically you want the city that you were actually married, not just Seattle. Maybe it was Bellevue or Kirkland, some surrounding area. So the actual city and state where you were married, and obviously your wedding date. They do ask a few questions that are a little odd, like were you married by a public official or clergy is an odd question. The other one is one of the first questions they ask, which is about blindness. Make sure you read that really, really well. Again, most of the time the answer is no, but again, that will be particular to you. There's a blindness question. My recommendation is take it very slowly. Again, it should take about 20 to 30 minutes at the maximum, but some of the questions are worded oddly. So make sure to read them well. One key tip is once you're in, there's eventually going to be a reentry number. Make sure to write that down. That number is essentially if your internet goes out, your power goes out, whatever, something happens in the middle of the application, you will use that reentry number to get back in where you are saved. So please write that down. because that will be very, very crucial. Once you're done submitting your application, that reentry number will technically be your confirmation number. So it's good to write it down the first time because it will be the same, and you can verify. That's another way to verify that your application has been submitted, because you'll see that reentry number or confirmation number again. You want to probably sign up 3 months before your the date in which you want to take it. And always know that the check is a month late. So if you say, I want it January of 2027, it's always the first check is going to come in February of 2027. Usually it's the second, third, or fourth week, depending on your last name. So it's going to come a month late, and it's usually on a Wednesday, second, third, or fourth week. Another key tip for anybody who's filing online is you're usually, I'm going to put in, air quotes, usually you're going to get a confirmation within 2 weeks or less. The fastest I've ever seen it was 24 hours. The slowest I've ever seen it was months. So you're usually going to get something in 2 weeks. If you don't see anything within a month, I would technically call the National Social Security Hotline and ask them about confirmation of your submission. Or is there anything that they wanted to see? Sometimes, it's very rarely that I see, especially if you're filing only for your individual application, that they'll ask for any supporting documentation. But if you're filing for widow benefits or spousal benefits, they can absolutely say, hey, we want to see your marriage certificate. Or if you're divorced, hey, we want to see your marriage certificate and your divorce certificate. So having that information available, again, is crucial in preparation for signing up. But then it's also will be crucial if they want to see any documentation to validate it. So I hope this is helpful. I always want to congratulate clients. You've worked years and decades and putting into a system that is now finally going to help take care of you and your retirement. I know it's a big step. That's why take your time, have all your documentation ready. But then once you submit it, celebrate. You've earned it. So it's one of my favorite things to do with clients because 35 years, 40 years, sometimes 50 years worth of working. And now you're going to receive a recurring guaranteed paycheck for as long as possible or as long as you live. So thanks for tuning in. Have a fantastic rest of your day.